Hey guys, what's happening? So of late, I've been reading a fantastic book. It's called "Steal Like an Artist" by Austin Kleon. Beautiful short book, just 132 pages, but some really good life lessons about how to perfect your craft. So yeah, let's discuss some of the important learnings from this book. One of the best advice that you learn from this book is we need to debunk the myth of being original. Just look around you. Most of the stuff that is built has been produced in some form before. Most often, originality is mass inspiration or inspired stealing, for lack of a better word. Great, profound thought. Yeah. So when we go into this world and try to choose something to dedicate our time and effort towards mastering, any craft should be preceded by these three questions. Question one: will the world be a better place if the masters of this craft exist? You don't want to build something that might actually harm the world. That might, once you build it, you might actually regret it. So ask yourself this question: are you doing good? Second, are you crazy about this? Can you do this for decades? To master anything, to become great at anything, to even steal properly, you need to give long term effort, right? It won't happen in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year. So, can you do it for decades? So will you actually be able to do it for the love of it? Question number three: do you reckon this is something that might inspire others to steal? You want to be a great craftsman, an artist, a painter, a coder, a builder who can inspire others to steal from you, right? Stealing, getting your work stealed is probably the highest form of appreciation. Will people actually be able to do that? That's it. These three questions. And if the answer of any one of these is a no, then drop this and try something else. Either you have a hell yes or you don't do that. Don't settle. Okay? And this is a life changing decision. In the pursuit of working on your craft, you will come across multiple masters who all will inspire you. One inclination that we might have is, can we follow all of them? Though there is heaps to learn from masters of every kind, what I will suggest is pick one and follow their brain stream. What I mean by that is every great craftsman has a lineage that they might have learned from. It might be their style, their way of working, the way they live their life, the way they pursue inspiration, the places that they travel to, all are different sources of inspiration. And if you dig really deep, you will realize they all are also stealing tricks of the trade from the other masters. So, following a lineage of a master allows you to learn different ways of pursuing greatness while also avoiding the confusion of trying to master different styles simultaneously. Now, one of the questions that you might have is, how can I find lineage of a master whom I follow? You can find it in their work, their interviews, the books that they read, the academic papers that they read, the kind of work that they did, the places that they traveled to, what are the decisions that they took in their life, from all of them. Become a stalker of an inspiration. Live their life. Look at things from their eyes. When you're pursuing your craft, think how might a master do that? And you will be really surprised how it impacts your craft. Okay, the inclination that we all have, once I have done some basic learning or have learned few stuff, I will then get ready to ship. Okay, which I reckon is a big mistake. I will suggest otherwise. Ship and keep shipping, and let your errors be the tangents around which you might focus your learning. Let's take an example. If we want to build a software product, we might decide to do all the courses that we need, read all the books that come across us before we build even a single block of software. And when we eventually get to it, we realize the coding assistants help us surprise lots of things that we were worried about. Other approach might be we decide to solve a problem and start building it. And whenever we come across a hurdle, we might decide to solve for it by building our learning around it. The second approach is what I recommend, as it's more long term. It helps you be more efficient. You have long term retention of every learning that you have, and the constant goal oriented progress inspires you to learn more and grow more and become better. Alrighty, don't steal the style, but the thoughts. What does that mean? When you get inspired by someone or something, Don't just try to steal the style or steal the way the work is done, but also try to understand the motivation, the thought process behind production of that work. The reason is because with whole steal what you like, the idea is not to be able to reproduce just something once. The idea is to become better. We are not trying to steal IP or intellectual property. Okay, and that's not the idea. When we say steal, what do you mean is understand from a deeper angle how someone was able to produce greatness. Okay. For example, if you are trying to build something that probably Leonardo da Vinci built, you just don't try to copy the painting, right? You try to understand how did Leonardo came to that moment when he was able to get the inspiration and the skill set to build a Mona Lisa. Okay. If you're trying to understand how the first aeroplane was built, because you are trying to build something of a great engineering magnitude, like similar to that, you don't go back and build an aeroplane again. Okay. What you try to do understand is understand the motivation what the Wright brothers came up with and how they are trying to build something, how they thought about it, how they thought about how they got inspired by the birds flying in the sky. And that is the way you steal something that stays with you and becomes your own, rather than just being someone who's blatantly copying something. And the final thing, have the courage to share. Building something just by learning from someone does not matter if you don't have the courage to share it with the world, right? Because the feedback is what will make you the craftsman that you want to be. Does not matter how much you steal, right? You become a derivative of multiple magnitudes of things happening in your life. But how do you know that you are getting aligned in the right direction? From the feedback that you get from the world. And to get the feedback, you have to have the courage to share. Will things suck? Of course, they will suck when you start off. This is something that everyone will tell, right? When you start, you suck. Okay, but it takes courage to share even when it sucks, and be humble enough to gather that feedback that you need to become better. And believe me, if there are few rules in the world that I actually trust, it's that if you are able to build a resilience to constantly change, constantly develop stuff, share stuff, work on the feedback, understand what feedback take, what feedback to ignore, and you continuously keep on working on your craft, things will change, right? All the barriers that you're looking at will go away.